If you're watching this review and you're an Alex stan, I'm sorry, but Alex is very cringe to me. She's very awkward. And I wrote this down. I was like, she's not mature enough for a guy like Jonathan. Hi everyone, my name is Dimitri and welcome back to Dimitri Tube. Bachelor in Paradise episodes 2 and 3. Let's talk about it. As always, if you're enjoying my videos, please go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell. I'm a growing YouTuber and the like subscribes really help me out. Sorry again for the delay. I am a slacker, but y'all, this was 3.5 hours of television and I struggled to get through the first episode. Like episode 2, like nothing happened the last hour and 10 minutes aside from the rose ceremony. And when they have 2 episodes in a row like this, I really miss the campiness and the comedy they used to have because the show is just not flowing, I feel like, the way it should. Like, it almost feels just too serious and I was like struggling to get through it. Next, this casting is not good and we are gonna talk about this more in the video. Stacey Agerman 7694 asked me about this in the comments, like, if you're not feeling the cast, who would you like to see this season? So we have not had Bachelor in a while, so I'm just struggling to remember the contestants. And it's not that I wanted anyone specifically. Normally for this show, I want to see contestants who are a little messy and are gonna make storylines. Like, I'm down for love stories if it happens, but if it doesn't happen, I just prefer contestants that are gonna make good storylines. And I don't know what happened with casting, but just a lot of the contestants are either annoying or cringe. Spencer's annoying. Parisa is weird. Who else we got? Alex is cringe. Jill is cringe. Zoe is cringe. I think Sam was a good choice. Ali Joe, good choice. Brian is a good choice. He's a little douchey, but he's making interesting television. Bailey is growing on me, and I do like Justin, but I typically don't like when people keep getting multiple chances in Paradise. This is either Justin's second or third time in Paradise, and it's like, I'd rather them just pick someone new. Stacey, I hope that answers your question, and that's all I got. Let's dive into the review. Okay, first up, Bailey's top was really cute. Next, is Costa Rica in like a rainforest or something? It has rained like 4 or 5 times since they've been there. Next, what do y'all think about the Goldens being there? Let me know below in the comments. So far, the Goldens are very much a secondary storyline, and I just feel like if you're gonna have them be a secondary storyline like this, they might as well not even be on the show. And they're also there for like comic relief, but y'all, I'm so tired of the Viagra jokes. Like, enough. Let's start with Brian. So I will say, I think Brian is hot, but y'all, Brian definitely played Zoe for a rose. Brian ignored Zoe at breakfast, and in a confessional, he called her clingy and said he wanted to keep her options open. And to me, it seems like he was not very forthcoming about this to her. So we get some new bombshells to the island, Parisa and Ali Joe. And y'all, I apologize beforehand if I use Love Island terms or if I compare this to Love Island. It is what it is. And I don't know if y'all got this, but Zoe did not want to greet the new girls, and that was really messy because they were all on the same season together. Zoe and Ali Joe had beef, but I don't think Zoe and Parisa had beef, so that was really messy of her not to say hello. And not only that, when she was talking to them, she started with, "Oh yeah, stay away from my man Brian," and that's just not a good way to start. And also, what do y'all think of Parisa's hair? Did she not get her highlights refreshed right before the show? Like, they're definitely like fully grown in. Like, did she not know she was gonna be on TV? Like, before you go on Paradise, please get your highlights refreshed. And if anyone knows hair, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about, but clock me if I'm wrong about that. Brian and Parisa go on a date, and it's a double date, I believe, with Ali Joe and Jonathan. They go to a bar and they play games. This date was really lame. I like seeing the contestants go off the compound for a date, but this was a very lame excuse to go off the compound. And Zoe at one point said to like another contestant or something, "Let me know if they kiss." And it's just, Zoe is so cringe to me. Next, just a heads up for this video, I'm gonna jump around a little bit. I gotta jump around a bit or I just think the video won't make sense. Next, let's talk about the chemistry test. So the contestants are split off by gender, and then they're given an iPad and they can swipe left or swipe right. And if they both check yes on each other, they're brought to a location and they're given the opportunity to kiss. So this is a cool idea to push storylines, and I would have did the same thing as Brian. I would have just checked yes on everyone because I do like to kiss too, so whatever. And just a heads up, this also kind of shows the difference between men and women on the apps. Men, for the most part, will just check yes on everyone, whereas women tend to be more selective. And this is just a personal opinion. It's not because men are whores, it's just because usually there's more men on these apps than women. And on average, it's usually very difficult for a man to get a date from the app, so they typically just check yes on everyone. But one read that I do have about this game is that I don't want to watch people use Tinder on TV. Like, that's boring. And I'm sorry, y'all, I gotta compare this to Love Island. I don't know what they do on Love Island, but they kind of, I don't want to say they force all the contestants to explore with one another, but they basically force them because especially in the beginning, all the contestants like will kiss other contestants and other stuff, and they will truly explore. Whereas on this show, they don't do that as much. Jess and Spencer during the chemistry test only picked each other, and they were like, oh, we don't want to kiss anyone else, which is fine. Your body, your choice, but it does not make good television. Like, they've only been here 2 days and they're only choosing each other. They don't want to explore anymore. And let me know below in the comments what you think of Jess and Spencer. I do not think they're a good match. So Spencer is being himself. Like, this is who he is. He's like super goofy. He's annoying. But I do think Jess is on her best behavior because if you remember during Joey's season, she was part of that like mean girl clique. And I do think after the season aired, she did get a good amount of backlash. So because of that, now she's like on her best behavior. And I'm glad she did explore with Sam, but I do think she should be open to exploring with other contestants only because I don't think Spencer would be a good match with her outside of this. Again, I don't think she's being her full self, and Spencer won't see that side of her until they get out of this, and I don't think that'll be a good match. Hi everyone, sorry, I forgot to include this when I was filming, but during the kissing booth, Parisa went into the kissing booth with gum in her mouth, and y'all, that is such a pet peeve for me. Like, that is a huge pet peeve. Like, girl, what are you doing? Like, you're about to kiss someone and you have gum in your mouth, and like, I get it if you're worried about your breath, but like, chew the gum a little bit and then spit it out and then go into kissing booth. Like, what are we doing? Next, quick word on Dale. Does anyone know? I feel like he did something to his eyes, not like the outside of his eyes, like right here and right here. You can really tell on one of them. It almost looks like he had like some work done, but I don't know what it is. When things were not going well with Brian, Zoe tried to talk to Dale, and Dale told her that he's focusing on Kat for now. And then later on, Allie Joe tries to steal him, and he kisses her, and Allie Joe tries to make something, and that was like kind of messy. And in Dale's defense, this could have been out of order, but I don't think it was. Next, let's talk about Lexi and Justin. Y'all, this storyline was so ridiculous. So Lexi tries to break off things with Justin, and Lexi says she's putting a wall up and she's worried about getting hurt. And I'm just like, girl, y'all have only been here like 3 days. And during their argument, Lexi tells Justin to talk to more people, but Justin says he's being intentional and focusing on her. But then Lexi encourages Justin to explore, so he's sure. And then Lexi says she should explore and talk to more people, and this didn't make sense. We literally just had the kissing booth, and the kissing booth was completely private. So Lexi had an opportunity to kiss other people, but she didn't take it. And now she's saying, oh, I want to explore with other people. No, you don't. After that, we go to the rose ceremony. Allie Joe, Zoe, Susie, and Lexi all go home, and let's talk about the big upset. Justin picks Susie instead of Lexi, and I will say, I thought this was a little predictable only because I feel like during one of the previews they were like, this is gonna be the most unexpected rose ceremony, but like that was probably the only unexpected thing that could have happened. Susie does not accept the rose. She goes back to the girls. Her and the other women contestants and Lexi have a sisterhood moment, yada yada yada. So long story short, Justin ruined the rose ceremony, and this moment did not hit the way they meant for it to hit. So after Justin ruined the rose ceremony, he was like really upset and talking to Jesse Palmer, but I don't have any investment in Justin and Susie's relationship. Like, I really didn't care for Susie during Clayton's season, and then I like Justin, but he didn't really have a big role on Katie Thurston's season. And then to me, he wasn't a huge deal on Paradise either. I do like him as a person though. And not only that, when Justin and Susie got together, I thought the relationship was for clout. Like, I didn't really think they were truly interested in each other. It only seemed like they got together to like try to make more money on social and stay relevant. So now Justin is having this moving moment with Jesse Palmer, but it's not hitting the way it should, because this is assuming all of us follow Justin and Susie on social media and we were invested in their relationship. But I didn't do that. So I wasn't. If y'all were invested in the relationship and this really hit y'all, let me know below in the comments, because it didn't really do much for me. So since Susie didn't accept the rose, there's another rose floating around, and I guess it's production's choice, and they end up giving the rose to Jill, and I was so annoyed because I don't want to see more of Jill. She's very annoying. I would have rather Ally Joe stay. That would have been more interesting. And also, Jill has already been on Paradise. Ally Joe is new. Give her another chance. And also, when they were trying to figure out what to do with the rose, Susie was like, I don't want it. Lexi was like, I don't want it. And then I think Jill didn't want it either. And this is so embarrassing. Like, Paradise used to be the show that people wanted to be on. Like, people wanted to be here. And now there's a rose and everyone's throwing it around like hot potato. Next, let's talk about Alex and Jonathan. And this may be an unpopular opinion, but y'all, Alex got a very good edit. If you're watching this review and you're an Alex stan, I'm sorry, but Alex is very cringe to me. She's very awkward. And I wrote this down. I was like, she's not mature enough for a guy like Jonathan. I don't remember why exactly I wrote that. I think it's just watching her interact with the other contestants. She's just very immature. And I wrote that down. She was having a one-on-one with Jonathan earlier on episode 2. And it's just like, she just came off so immature to me. So Alex breaks things off with Jonathan. She just says she can't get there. She's not feeling him, yada, yada, yada. And I don't know if y'all caught this, but why did Alex wait until the women had the roses to break things off with Jonathan? From the jump, I didn't think they had much of a connection, and Jonathan and Ally Joe went on a date that I thought went well. And Alex could have broken up with him earlier, and he could have chosen Ally Joe, but Alex waited till the women had the roses. So I thought that was kind of messy. And don't get me wrong, Alex does not take the full blame. Jonathan could have chosen Ally Joe, but he didn't. So here we are. But I do think Alex knew she wasn't interested in him before the previous rose ceremony. After that, Andrew arrives to the beach and he's interested in Bailey and Alex. He's trying to choose between the two and he ends up choosing Bailey. I'm sorry, y'all, if I just keep dragging this show, but the dates on here have gotten so bad. Bailey and Andrew dip their feet in coffee and they take a coffee bath. Like, it was a really weird date, but Bailey's body was tea. She looked good in that swimsuit. And long story short, it does not work out between Bailey and Andrew, so Andrew takes another shot at being with Alex. And at this point now, Alex feels like she's the second choice. And this was very immature to me. So I get it. It sucks that Andrew was trying to decide between Alex and Bailey for a date. He ends up choosing Bailey. And now that didn't work out, he wants to go on a date with you. But first of all, Jill got her hopes up. Like, I don't know if y'all saw that point. They were in one of the hotel rooms and Jill was like, oh yeah, Alex, he's definitely going to pick you for the date. And 2, I understand where Alex is coming from, but just in terms of dating, I feel like a series of things, like just in life in general, a series of things happens for two people to come together. Like, if this was in the real world, Andrew probably would have taken Bailey on a date. It wouldn't have worked out. And now he's like, let me see if things could work with Alex. I wouldn't view that as a second choice. It's not like they were in the middle of a rose ceremony and he chose Bailey over her. It was like, no, like he decided to take Bailey on the date first. This is tough to explain, but like if it was in the real world, like Andrew is dating. So like Andrew is dating. So like, so what if he went on a date with Bailey first? Like in the real world, Alex probably wouldn't even known that. So for her to get kind of upset over this again is like kind of immature to me. Next, let's talk about Bailey and Jeremy. So earlier in the episode during the kissing booth, the only person that wanted to kiss Jeremy was Bailey. And I felt bad for my guy, Jeremy. Y'all know, I think he's hot and I think he was expecting more suitors, but he didn't get them. Also, this happens to me for this show all the time. The guys that I think are the hottest, the women never want them. So like, we just have different tastes. Fast forward in the episode, Andrew asks Bailey on the date. Bailey accepts, but she decides she's gonna tell Jeremy that she's going on a date with Andrew, and Jeremy does not take it well at all. Jeremy accuses Bailey of only telling him that she likes him just so she can get a rose to make it to the next week. They get into like a small argument. Bailey ends up going on the date, but she does end up crying before the date. So then Jeremy goes to production and says he wants Susie back. And I was like, yo, that is not how this show works. And not only that, if Jeremy did try to pursue Susie, I knew she was gonna turn him down. So just like I said earlier with the Alex and Andrew situation, Jeremy was in a rose ceremony. He had just gotten off a date with Susie. So he had a choice between Bailey and Susie, and he chose Bailey. If you watch Clayton's season and you know Susie's personality, you know Susie would never give Jeremy a chance after doing that. Susie is a Leo and she thinks she is the center of the universe. She would never rock with that kind of behavior. If you don't choose her first, she's not going to be with you. And Jeremy choosing Bailey, he should have known that like Susie would never be an option now. I love Jeremy, but I don't know what was going through his head. Like, bruh, you don't run shit. You are a contestant. This is the way you played the game. You had a choice between Bailey and Susie, and you took a leap of faith with Bailey, so you gotta stick with that. No take backsies. So Jeremy ends up asking production if he can call Susie to see if like she's still nearby and wants to come back. And of course, production, messy as hell, allows Jeremy to do that. Jeremy calls Susie and asks Susie if she wants to come back. And of course, Susie is like, no, which I knew she would say no. And I understand why Jeremy did all this. He felt fooled, but him doing all of this made him look like a total jackass. And at the end of the episode, I don't think he told Bailey he did all of this, but hopefully he tells her eventually, because if she watches this back and sees him do that, that is going to be a very bad look, especially if they end up together at the end of this. So later on, Jeremy and Bailey do end up making up, but Jeremy, I don't think he told Bailey about the phone call yet. And when they were making up, Jeremy had his shirt off and they were talking about it, and like, I would have made up with Jeremy too. Like, how could I have, I wouldn't have been able to say no. I would have just focused on your pecs. And last thing I want to say to wrap up the video. So Jill and Jonathan had a date and they got to go to the VIP suite, and like, yo, this VIP suite was wasted on like two different couples. One of the golden couples got to go to the VIP suite later in the episode. Like, I guess that was fine, but the way it's set up, the Goldens are very much a secondary storyline, so I did not really care. And then when it comes to Jill and Jonathan, Jill is annoying. I really did not want to see her in this VIP suite. Also, by the way, Sean arrives in Paradise and Sean is going to take Jill on a date. So we're going to see another date with Jill, and I'm tired. Like, production had an opportunity to keep Allie Joe, and I think Allie Joe and Jonathan actually liked each other, but now we're just stuck with all these Jill dates. Whatever. So Jill and Jonathan went on this date. Jill and Jonathan had a kiss. Long story short, they get into an argument later on. I don't really know why. I wasn't paying attention, but I guess Jonathan was giving her mixed signals and Jill didn't take it the right way, so they got in an argument. Like, I don't even care. I hope Jonathan leaves and just leaves gracefully, because this headache is not even worth it. And I really did not understand why Jill kept going back and forth with him. Like, Jill, if he's giving you this many mixed signals this early on, move on. And that's all I got. They're bringing in Sean next week. Maybe he'll pick things up. Sean is kind of messy. I think he's a good pick for the show. Also, they did a game with secrets. The game was so weak. Like, the secrets were so weak, so y'all didn't miss much there. And that's all I got. I keep dragging this show. I'm so sorry if you're enjoying it. Like, this season is just, so far, I'm not really feeling it. Maybe it'll get better. We will see. But as always, if you enjoyed this review, please go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one. Bye.